Guys, Jeff's crazy. I don't know what to tell you. Hey everyone, welcome to the 100th, 3rd, 900th, who knows, episode of Teach Better Talk / Daily Drop-In / Team Drop-In, which is the podcast that nobody knows the name of. We are really excited to be here. We're recording on a Wednesday, trying to get this out to you as quickly as possible. Jeff Gargas is here. My name is Rae Hughart, and let's get into some good conversation. I really love how we open this podcast, don't you?
100th, 3rd, 900th, like there's.
Well, I don't know. We've been doing this podcast since 2018, so it's probably like the millionth episode.
Well, here's the crazy part about how you said that is you were completely accurate. Like that is exactly what number this is. Like I just checked the spreadsheet, which is apparently a mile and a half long.
Apparently.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's a Wednesday. Did we record? Have we recorded on a Wednesday before? We have.
I don't know. We've been so deliberate for every other season, like feel of this podcast. Now we are breaking all the rules. We don't have a prescribed day that we release. We don't have a prescribed day that we record. But I'm telling you guys, it's just because we're in this summer break mode. We have a whole plan that we're not getting into in this episode yet, but a whole plan for the fall. And we promise we're going to, try and get back on track with, I don't know, at least doing something for all of you.
You know what? One thing we should do is ask, if you're listening right now, do you want us to get back on track, or do you just want this? Because, maybe you need this sort of I don't want to use brain break because we have something else called brain break, but like this sort of like, well, Jeff and Rae clearly aren't using their brains, so I can turn mine off, and like this isn't structured, it's nonsense. Maybe they want that.
When would you listen to this podcast? Like, I know exactly in my day when these types of shenanigans would be welcomed in my listening, list versus absolutely times I would never listen to this podcast with all the chaos.
I think if we were in a post-apocalyptic world.
No, I meant
I was hold on, you asked, I'm answering. And I was taken prisoner by the enemy camp, whoever that might be. And they were torturing me with fire and maybe like acid and nails to my like legs or something and waterboarding me. And they were like, we can keep doing this, or you can listen to this podcast episode. At that point, I might consider listening to this podcast. Okay.
I meant like morning, noon, or night.
Honestly,
in the day.
Yeah. Okay. Morning when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. So I try to do like some reading or something for myself in the morning. It doesn't always happen, but I try to do that. I think this could be like a good start of like, I'm not quite ready to like learn anything. Let me just get a good smile, maybe a laugh, maybe a chuckle.
Okay.
Catch up what's going on with Jeff and Rae.
Interesting.
And then I think, was yours at like the end of the day when you're like trying to like, all right, time to turn it off?
So I literally just sent an email out to our network about this topic. So I feel like I'm having a little
Netflix.
Deja vu. I did. It was called To Netflix or Not to Netflix. Go check your inbox, friends. But I will tell you, I feel like the times of my day when I need some like easy breezy learning, like I don't want to talk about really tough to chew on topics, is either when I'm getting ready in the morning, like turn on a podcast while I like shower and get ready, or it's at like the end of the day when I'm prepping dinner and I just want something in the background. That's when I usually turn on the late show with James Corden. I mean, this is not as good as that.
I was just saying, you're comparing us to.
No, I mean, he's amazing.
So I can see that. I can see that. It's like sometimes when I'm doing like laundry or running around or whatever, I'll throw my phone somewhere with like a TV show that I've seen before, just as sort of like background noise and stuff. I think there's some deep-seated like fear that I have of being alone where I need to have that noise. I don't know. That's a whole other story. We can talk about that when I'm on the couch.
Not your therapy.
So maybe I would listen to it then. I don't listen to it now because I hate hearing myself. So like otherwise I've listened to a ton of, the Daily Drop-In recording stuff like that. Like I love that because I don't always get to watch all of those and stuff like that. Like wouldn't listen to this now primarily because it's me. I don't want to hear me.
Okay, well, I don't want to hear you either, but I have some stuff that we can talk about with our group.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's do that.
Actually, if you want to hear more from people that you actually want to hear from, that's actually what I wanted to highlight on this podcast episode, which is our featured speaker spotlights that we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you and I have obviously been a part of a lot of the planning, but they truly kicked off this morning. And I'm saying that knowing that it's Wednesday. I'm not sure when you're choosing to listen to this episode, but it's Wednesday, July 6th. And this was the first one of like almost 100 series live streams that we're doing that is committed to amplifying the voices of every single speaker at the Teach Better conference between now and the end of September. So when you come in October on the 14th and 15th, by the way, you can get all that information at teachbetterconference.com. You can actually see the full schedule. You can have actually met the speaker already. You could have heard from the speakers if you like the vibe and what they're envisioning for the session they're going to be presenting. And then you can set up your experience. So I'm like stoked.
So are we doing that's a lot of live stream.
Seriously. So Brad Hughes kicked off this morning. It was a really great conversation. It was bright and early this morning. We have a number of different team members that are going to help facilitate these lives. And it really is just supposed to be a feature to amplify the voices of our incredible speakers. Some of our speakers speak full time, like professionally around the world. Some of our speakers, this will be the first time they've ever shared their voice in kind of a formal format in this way. And we gave every single person who is accepted to speak, whether they're speaking for an hour at the conference or a 20-minute session at the conference, everybody has the opportunity to do a live stream with the team sometime between July and September. And what I really value is that there's a lot of celebration with it, but I like to see the speakers that I'm going to go learn from before I choose to go to their session, because it's hard to choose a session. Sure. So it's kind of a fun way to get to know the people that you'll be engaging with at the event.
Yeah. And speaking of the session, like I really do encourage you, one, obviously, because we want you to connect with these amazing people and do that. But to Rae's point, like it's tough to choose the session. We have a lot of sessions going on all day long, both Friday and Saturday at the conference. We do that purposefully, one, because when we do a lot, we're able to raise more voices. But we want you to have a wide variety of things to choose from. But to Rae's point, like that also makes it hard to choose.
It does.
There are no points in the day where there aren't like multiple really great things going on that are probably going to want to pull you. I think all the sessions are going to be awesome. So like it's tough. So getting into these live streams, like Rae said, you get to hear from them. You can jump in the comments and interact with them, maybe get a question answered. Yeah. So really going to feel like, oh, do I want to go spend 50 minutes with this person? And I really do think, Rae referred to, planning out your experience. And in the Schedule app, which we use for our schedule, you can click and RSVP to each session, which you should do because there are limited spots to all the sessions. So they will fill up. But then you'll have your schedule of like, oh, these are the ones that I thought through. I went through each one of these. I have a thoughtful path for my learning experience at the conference and set it up so that I think this is an awesome way that the team is doing this to allow you to better select, I like how you phrase it, Rae, like your experience at the conference via setting up the schedule and your schedule the way that you want to. So can we shout out who was live today? Because
well, we have a lot of speakers that are live today. We actually have 3 alone. Today. So here's what I want you guys to know. It's going to be tricky to know when you want to catch the team live doing any sort of live stream, right? We stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Sometimes we only stream in our private group for certain events. And there's a lot going on. Like Jeff and I literally had this conversation yesterday in a meeting that sometimes it's hard when it's not on a consistent schedule. Like Daily Drop-In was every single morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. You had some routine that you knew when to catch the team. There are a lot coming up, a lot of kind of like pop-in lives that are going to have incredible value. And we don't want you to be frustrated that you could miss them. Yes, of course, they're recorded, but we love when you engage in the comments. So we want to give you as much of an avenue to be successful and catch the lives that you're most interested in as possible. So we have set up a full events calendar. It's really easy. It takes 1 click to subscribe to it. And all it does is it incorporates a Google Calendar that's specific to Teach Better into the calendar system you use. And it tells you when the team is live. So these quick 15 to 20 minute featured speaker lives are all on there. You can check out all your speakers. And it's a really easy link to just give you the option to turn on and off, depending on how busy your calendar is between July and September, and make sure you don't miss a live. So you can get access to that full calendar at teachbetter.com/events calendar. If you're having any issues, I actually sent it out in an email this morning as well. It's also on our homepage. So it's an opportunity for you to make sure you don't miss valuable information. And I mean, I get to go live once today. Brad's going live twice, and it's just going to get busier. I'm so excited to feature all these incredible educator voices from all around the world.
So they're going to get Brad Hughes 2 times just today.
Just today alone. Yes.
That's awesome. You know what the best part about that calendar is that I've had access to that calendar for a very long time. Yet today, when I welcomed the team to our fabulous day and mentioned that we were starting these live streams, I only noted one of them because honestly, the way I did it, I looked further in day because I was thinking they were all later, but I forgot that this isn't like a evening thing. This is we're basing it around the speakers when they can do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot to look at the rest. And Rae had to be in front of the entire team within our system. Like, hey, Jeff, that's not true. We have 3 today. And so I went and huddled in my little corner, cried a bit. But here we are. And you don't have to do that because you'll pay attention to that calendar. So
I'm just
that was
saying,
a good idea to set up that calendar. That was good. That was thoughtful.
Well, yeah, because people, you've had this, like, I'm not going to call anybody by name, but we have some people in our network who are very committed to being a part of Teach Better, loving events. No, not you. And they I cannot tell you the emails. If I had a quarter for every email I got with someone being like, I miss this, I wish I had known. I'm like, friends, we are here to help you feel success. We are here to make you happy. So we're going to give you tools and resources that you can choose to use and turn off and on as you see fit. That's what we're all about.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of speakers. So we're talking about speakers. So obviously we're still planning to do the conference, which is great. I think that's a good call. I'd prefer to do it. I know you already mentioned teachbetterconference.com, so they can go register there. What else is going on that we need to talk about today?
The only other thing I want to mention, which was also sent in my email. So apparently this was like the best email of eternity.
You were really thoughtful in this email. Very intentional.
Well apparently, we are doing that free PD where the point of what we were sharing out is we've had a lot of educators that are in this like 1 foot in, 1 foot out space over the summer. They're like, I want to learn, but don't overwhelm me. And I'm interested in like thinking through educational topics, but I want to do it by sitting by the pool. Like we're all trying to find this balance of, it's not that I don't want to be a learner right now, but please don't overwhelm me. I've been overwhelmed for the last 10 months. I want something easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. And I am still willing to like continue my journey as an educator, but only while sipping Mai Tais in my bikini. Like I totally get it. So, and I'm right. So what we decided to do is rather than overwhelm anybody with learning opportunities, a lot of our focus is going to be giving people small little ideas to chew on. And if that's as far as you want to go, just to think through a concept that you may or may not choose to form an opinion on or learn more about, that's okay. But we're also going to give you next steps in case something exciting sparks within you and you're like, ooh, actually, I'm super interested in that. So I might commit an hour next week to exploring that idea further. We're doing a bite-sized series over in our private Facebook group. That's on July 15th. So if you guys want to jot that down, it's July 15th. It is going to be a live series. There'll be 3 different 30-minute segments on 3 different topics, but it'll all be recorded and saved. And it's featuring 3 of our fabulous trainers on the team, Katie Migland, Chad Wachowski, and Joshua Stamper. And I think it's going to be a really good opportunity, again, for people to get into the private group, to engage in the comments, to ask those questions, and then to either sit back, chew on these new ideas, and still just enjoy their summer, or choose to learn a little bit more. And we're going to give them free access to details to do that, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and I love that because you're talking 90 minutes. So it's not a major commitment, but right.
90 minutes
so fit that
all
in
3.
For all 3 altogether. So what are the 3 topics that we're touching on that day?
So it's interesting. We were trying to really listen to our community. So the first one is about mastery learning and the grid method, but it's for the teacher that isn't sure they want to like go all the way. Like it's going to be in a different type of presentation that we've ever done. Really trying to give like small baby steps you could take versus like choosing to eat the whole sandwich, right? So that's the first one. So it's called Tiptoeing into the Grid. The second one is all on DOK, depth of knowledge, but it's actually how to use it to like look through a lens of depth of knowledge through multiple different things that you do as an educator. So you can actually use depth of knowledge to evaluate a standard, a target, the way you question. There's a whole kind of like slew of information you can do with that. So we're kind of forming that concept around how do you look through the lens of that as you get into content. That's by Chad. I'm so excited for that one. Yes. And then the last one, hello, Joshua Stamper, our favorite person ever. He's doing an aspiring leadership one. And I think that's perfect. As many of you know, he has this incredible book that he published for this topic. He has a book study in our course as well in our academy. And it's for educators that are either hoping to someday be a leader or foster their leadership skills, or maybe they're currently a leader and they want to improve. I mean, it's just leadership in general is so good regardless of your title.
Yeah.
So it'll be a really good session to be reflective. How are you a leader in your classroom? How are you a leader in your team? How are you a leader in your building, in your district? There's a lot to dive into.
And I think to harp on that, like you just said, like if you're, you mentioned like leader in your classroom, on your team, one thing that Josh is so passionate about is that everyone is a leader in one way or another. So even if you're not thinking leader as in I want to be a assistant principal or principal, superintendent like that, the Aspire model and everything Josh talks about helps you to be able to lead wherever you're at and in whatever capacity you want to. So that's awesome. That's a nice lineup. That's exciting.
I literally refer to his book all the time, so much so that I like keep it right there because I like pull this out like once a week. I feel like someone tells me something and I'm like, well, have you read this book by Joshua _Stamper? He's amazing. Yeah, fun.
I like it. Okay.
Anywho, good things going on. I hope everybody enjoyed their 4th of July if you guys were celebrating. And I know, Jeff, we have a busy week this week internally planning because in just under 2 weeks or just under 3 weeks, we have our team retreat. We are, for the first time ever, bringing together the Teach Better team physically in person.
It is under 2 weeks.
We tried to do this for those of you that are like OGs that have been with us for a while. We tried to do this on March 13th, 2020. Let's all reflect back on the weekend of March 13th.
Yeah, was it that Saturday or something? Was that one of those?
So the 13th was a Friday. We wanted to bring everyone in on the 14th and 15th in Chicago.
Yes.
And shocker, spoiler alert, it got canceled.
Yeah. We didn't. And that's actually, because on our drive, Chad and I were on our way out from Ohio to Chicago as every state was shutting down K through 12. And I finally got the text from my brother-in-law who works for the CDC and said, I wouldn't have your whole team in Chicago this weekend. And we finally, and then like, it was like 30 minutes later that Illinois shut
everything down.
And everyone was like, hey, if you could be anywhere, don't be in downtown Chicago.
Yep.
That's what it was.
We're finally
so we didn't do it. It seems a little bigger now.
Yeah, safely. We're bringing the whole team together in a few weeks. So next episode, we'll kind of update you on that. Our team has no idea what we're doing. So maybe we'll give our podcasters some like sneak peeks on some of the leadership stuff we'll be doing with our internal team. And we also do want to release an episode the week of the retreat as well. So maybe we'll have to record 2 episodes next week.
Or maybe we'll record on Monday when we get there.
We won't be doing that because we're going to be so busy setting up crap, just so you know. We won't.
I just figured Katie's going to do everything. So we'll have plenty of time to record.
From my understanding, Katie's bringing like a casserole, and I think that's what's supposed to sustain us for 3 days. I don't know. If anybody has concerns, we're in the middle of the woods with a casserole. I just want you to know that.
It's a really big casserole, if that helps.
It's not going to be big enough to feed the entire team for 3 days. I'm just saying. This is
we're all going to lose some weight.
Yeah.
I think she's bringing some other stuff too. She told me yesterday, I was waiting for her to give me all the stuff that I need to bring. She's like, I think I'm gonna need you to bring, I can't remember what it was, like a fork or something. It was like really something. It's like, I don't need to bring anything basically. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm excited. That's gonna be fun.
I think I'm gonna need to bring like Like, what if she doesn't bring coffee? Or what if, like, guys, if you're listening right now, what would be the item that if you went on a retreat, like what would be the item that if it wasn't easily accessible, you might die? Like,
keep in mind, there's not like stores close by for us to
no,
run
there's
to and
no,
pick something that's forgot.
we're
So
going
we're
to
gonna
a
deal with it.
remote, we're going to a remote location.
It's an underground bunker.
No, but it really is a remote location. There's not like a grocery store. I mean,
there isn't, no.
We could find one, I'm sure, but
like you can't DoorDash out here. Like that's not happening.
No, and I live on
whatever. So anyway, that's gonna be fun.
Wait,
I think we're done here. Are we done?
You didn't answer what your
item.
You
didn't answer what? Oh, what my item would be?
I think coffee. Like if you don't give me coffee, but 3 days.
I mean, I'd get over it, but I'm gonna say food.
Just in general food? Like nobody's feeding you?
Like I need some, yeah, like if no one fed me for 3 days, that'd be bad, but that's not going to be the case. So realistically, what I would need to have that maybe someone else would be responsible for bringing, yeah, coffee, probably.
How about like toothpaste, maybe? I don't know.
Well, like you should bring that. Like if Katie forgets to bring that, like you should have brought that in your own bag. Like that's your fault, right? Now there's a good chance Katie's going to have little things of toothpaste for all of us because let's be real here, and little like packaged toothbrushes and
I'm just hoping that somebody in our Teach Better community that lives listening to the podcast tweets at us like something obscure like floss. Like I could totally go 3 days without floss, but maybe there's somebody who can't. Or my favorite food ever, I found this out last night and I'm still not over it. My favorite food is mangoes. And I heard that we can't have mangoes at the retreat because somebody's allergic. And I just want you to know that I'm going to try really hard to get 3 days without mangoes. Like nothing. It can't even be in the vicinity. It's like peanut butter for this person.
I also found out that same person's allergic to coffee.
No, do not. I'm not. Don't mess with me. I need my coffee.
Katie let me know and I just fired him. It's cool.
No.
No.
We can fire people.
No. No, we can't. No, of course not. But yeah, no mangoes. That's interesting. Okay. Well, everyone, please tweet at Rae, shoot her DM, and let her know that you're thinking about her because it's gonna be a rough week for her with no mangoes. And I want to make sure that she's okay. So a little extra love from you on social media would be very helpful for that. I think we're done. I think we've been done for a few minutes here on this podcast. And I'm going to go back to my original answer of when I would listen to it. I think I was accurate. But we still want to hear from you. When do you listen to this? If you listen, which means you're hearing it right now, tweet at us. Let us know when you listen to this. Is it in the morning when you're getting ready? Is it like at night when you're going to sleep? Is it when you're only given a chance between this and torture? Is it when you're mowing the lawn? What are the other things? Is it when you're eating mangoes?
And if you can
I want to know.
If you could let us know who the next co-host is going to be, because clearly Jeff isn't joining the episode anymore, so it's fine.
Oh, and most importantly, folks, let's get out there and let's teach better.